Well, good morning, my crafty friends. It's Bella here from RachandBallaCrafts. I'm a bit wheezy because I've been tearing up the canvas and it's left my room with lots of fibres. So please forgive me if I'm a bit wheezy this morning. Sunday morning here, I'm all ready for church and I'm just showing you the first part of this video, my cover that I did yesterday. And I wanted to show you the difference between the two covers. Let me just find the other one. And you can see how different they are. All right, so what I did yesterday, I just glued that one, didn't I? And that one's really lovely. It feels lovely this morning. It's nice and not stiff, but it just feels nice. This one is going to be floppy because I haven't put any glue in this one and I haven't used a stiffer material in this one, but it's all stitched down at the moment, as much as I want to do at the moment, but that's the inside, and that's what I was trying to create. I'm not worried about the knots here. Don't worry about knots. It's all part of the slow stitching. I think so anyway, and I just love it. But you've got to remember my, let me get them out. My signatures are going to go there, and when I've stitched them in, they're going to cover those knots anyway. So it's not a problem in the middle, is it? So that's fine, but let me show you what I did. First of all, I took all this off. Then I stitched around here, around the edges, because I've put the calico on the back instead of the material. So it's plain, okay? Because I wanted the stitches to show up on this. Now I could have done dark brown, but I wanted to vary the colours. You can do this and it adds texture and adds colour. Okay, so what I did there, I just used this lovely, I don't know what you call this, it's like a cream. Let me hold it up so you can see. I don't know whether you'll see it properly there, but it's like a cream colour, but it's a pearly one. So that's a nice shiny one. So if I hold that up, you may get a glimmer. It's very dark in here today. Sorry about that. The weather's just not being kind. So there we are. So what I did, I've gone round in a circle here with the white, which you can just about see there. If I pull that back, you can see what I did there. So there's texture under there as well. And at the bottom, I did the cream. I think I used, what did I use? I think I used that one on there. Yes, I did. I used that one on there on the bottom circle, which you can see this quite clearly. I think if I hold it at different angles, you might be able to see the stitching. All right. And there is a knot on there, but I'm not bothered because, and I haven't gone right to the end because I like the fluffy bits. So it just depends on what you're creating, what you would like. So that's the back. No, that's the front and the back. That's curling up a bit there, but that will go down eventually when I put something heavy on top. This one I went round as I showed you, and I used this cotton, okay? And I haven't stitched every single last bit down. That's a little bit raised there. That's a little bit raised there. I'm not worried about that. If it does get on my nerves, then I'll stitch it down. But I don't think it will. I think it looks really nice. So I've gone around here and worked. What I did actually, I stitched the outside down first so I could get rid of most of the pins. And I just went round in a circle there, look. So I started here and went round there. And then I did another one here and worked my way in. And then I did an inner circle. All right, I don't know whether that helps, but this is just plain tacking stitching all the way around, which I love against this calico and against the canvas. So I hope you like that. I'm really pleased with that. I may add a flower or something there, or I just might leave it completely plain. I haven't made my mind up. As I say, that's going inside. Oh, and then what I did then, because this was already stitched down and I didn't want to go through, I could have done, but I wasn't sure whether it would show through. I could have gone straight through, but what I did, I just went between those two layers there. So I just tacked it on, stitched it, I should say, onto the calico, and it's all held down nicely. And then I've done a stitch along here with the green, and you can't see that, but I did go around with this, I think it was this one, got all my threads tangled up, excuse me, this one, and I've gone down the edge there with it and across there with it, so I'll hold it up so you can see. All right, sorry about the light, it's just going to be like this for a couple more weeks. I'm hoping I will get a bit of light back, but I've got a magnolia tree right outside my window, which is absolutely beautiful in the spring. And I'm quite worried because it's going a little bit brown. They've put the scaffolding right through the middle of it, to the one side, goes right into the middle. So I don't know whether they've damaged it or what, I don't know. But I'm trying to pump some water into it to make sure it's being watered, but what can I do? They've got to get it done, so hopefully, but you know, plants are quite resilient, aren't they? So hopefully, God willing, it'll come back. And there we are. So we're moving on now to our inside pages, which I'm really excited about. Okay, and I'm going to put up some photographs now. What I did yesterday was my husband's idea. He said, why don't you take some photographs as you're going along of what you're actually doing? So I'm hoping I'll be able to join the photographs onto this video, and then I'll come back and do a little bit of stitching at the end. Okay, so I'm off to church in a minute, so I will be back later this afternoon. Well, I'm hoping I've managed to join the photographs in between these two videos, hopefully. If not, I shall have to put them on Junk Journal Trading Post Facebook page. So anyway, I've come back home, I've been to church and done other things, and I've been printing, I've been watching Roxy Creations because I absolutely love her channel. And I did go back and watch one of her old ones. Now, you must be wondering what I've got out here. But I bought these just before our retreat in June. And I went to our local haberdashery and our fabric shop. And she had these wonderful buttons. And she had a great big jar of them that somebody had brought in and said, would you like these to sell in your shop? Just gave them to her. Isn't that nice? There are still some lovely people about. So I'm just thinking to myself, because I'm going to put that down there, and that was going to hang down below there, if you remember. So that'll be going on there. And I'm just playing with the idea now, whether or not to put buttons on here, like so. I hope you can see this. And I'm just going to stitch. I've got to stitch these two pieces of material together first, and my mind went off at a tangent, so I just happened to look up on my shelf and I noticed these buttons were up there, and I thought, ooh, they look a bit yummy. So if you're down this way at the retreat, although actually no, we're in Cwmbran, aren't we? The next retreat is in Cwmbran, where I live. The other one was in Abergavenny, and of course that's where the haberdashery was. But we do have a haberdashery here, quite different to the one in Abergavenny, but it is still a good one. But I don't think you get things like this there. You may. Made a mess of that, didn't I? But anyway, let's just stitch this together a moment, and then we can decide whether or not we're going to use these luscious buttons, aren't they? They must be ancient. They look really old. But I love the way how this lady sorted out all the buttons. Must have taken her hours. I don't think they came like this. But I don't know how she's done it. She's just had the patience of I don't know what. And I thought that would be yummy, that because I'm trying to keep neutral, so I'm thinking along these lines. That was another colour I was thinking of introducing. But look at these, aren't they super? And that's got 2 holes in, so that might do. That would go nicely with that. So we'll keep those out, put that one back in there, and the pink one. I don't think I'll use those because they're a little bit bland. The green, I could use green because I've got green in there, but it's a different green. But these are sweet, aren't they? But they're not the same green as this. Now, does it matter? Not really, but I do like to try and match things if I can. So I'm going to put those there a moment while I stitch. But these are lovely buttons, aren't they? But they may be a bit big. But I'm sort of torn between those. Oh, look at the back of that. They're really lovely, aren't they? So we'll keep those out. We'll keep those out, and we'll see if we can. I don't think I'm going to use the green, so they can go back in the pot for the minute. And I'm just going to decide what stitch I was going to do down here. I've kept that like that. I know that's overlapping quite a bit there, but I'm wondering whether or not something will be put on the other side of this when I go turn the page over that might flop over. So I didn't want it to go too near the edge of this page here. All right, so am I going to show the knot? Yes, I am. Now, what am I going to do down here? Do you know, I'm half tempted to do a basting stitch. Because it's such a thick material. I've got to make sure I get that in. Yeah, I'm okay. I've got it in the other side. Sorry if you can hear my grandson. He's out there foraging again for food. And if it isn't him, it must be my husband. I'm expecting my son soon. They've been to Sorrento in Italy, and they've had the most amazing time. So I'm itching to hear all their news about their holiday. So that's a very, very large stitch, isn't it? But you know, I actually like it. So we can take those out now. And what we could do, if we wanted to, let me finish this off so it doesn't come undone. Right, and I think what I'll do then, I'll go through here, look. I'm going to take my needle up there. And I may just do an overcast stitch there. And I may change my mind and I may do something else. But for now, and it doesn't matter if it shows the other side. Okay? So I'm just going to go along there now. Because the longest stitch is going to be on the top. So all I'm going to see is that, the other side. And I just think this will be a variation. Now, I'm trying to keep these stitches simple for those that are just beginning. I'm not an embroiderer, by the way. I don't knit, and I don't have never done embroidery. Oh, tell a lie, I did start to do some embroidery with the church a long time ago. It was about 30 years ago, but I didn't manage to finish that. So we'll see what this looks like in a moment on the other side. There we are. So we're getting some steps down there now, aren't we? And I don't mind if some are bigger than others. As I've said before, the messier the better. Now, if you find your material is very thick, just push it into your, or on a book. If you haven't got one of these, get an old book and stick it onto the pages, you know, into the pages of the book, because they can be a little bit hard on your hands otherwise. So I'm making this up now as I'm going along, so we'll see what it looks like. Okay, and I'm just making sure that this very thick material from Roxy Creations, this is hemp, but I don't know what this is a very open weave, so a bit of wool in there, I think, but it's lovely material. Trying not to stab myself. There we go, managed to do that okay. And I'll go back through the same hole, finish that off, and then I'll push it through there and out there. Then I can cut it off. I quite like that actually, so that I haven't got a bit sticking up on the top. Okay, so that's that. And that's going to go like that. I like that. I really like that. There we are. Then that's going to be stitched on the bottom there with more stitching. So we've got stitching down here. We got that basting stitch there. Long tacking stitch, if you will. But the basting stitch usually goes diagonally like that. Okay. I think I'm going to change my thread now. And I'm going to use... What colour shall I use? Oh, I'm glad I did that, because I didn't think about which was... Oh, yes, you can tell. You can tell easily with that that's... Are we going to be controversial and use the other side? No. I do love embroidery on glaze, I've got to be honest. So I'm going to open that up now. I need it to stick down a bit because I want it to come out below that one, don't I? Okay. So let's put that on there. Now, I'm just thinking about the other side, whether or not before I do this... Oh, I went off the pail a bit there, didn't I? But never mind, doesn't matter. I can always put something that side, but it doesn't matter. And of course it doesn't show this side, does it? Unless I put it there. But you can still see it, can't you? Only just so. And if I bring it down, actually, that might do it. What if I do it like that? Let's try it. And so you can fix any mistake, can't you? And it wasn't really a mistake, because I said the messier the better, but it was a bit of a, you know, with these being so formal. Oh, I quite like that. And then maybe we could put, where's that lovely lace gone? You can never find it when you want it, can you? I got it, I've got it. I've got this one, although it's a darker colour, which might be quite nice actually. And then that could go on the top. What if we do that? And finish that off there, and maybe lift it up a little bit so it's not right on the... See, now your brain will start going off, and that looks nice, doesn't it? I think I might do that actually. So let's leave that for a minute. Excuse me, fibers are getting me again. So I think, let me just try this now with that over the top and see whether that's peeking out enough. And I think it is, don't you? So which... I'll have to watch I don't get muddled with these now, won't I? Having made two. Now, this one is smaller than that one, but I'm not bothered. But does it... And it just peeks out down the bottom there. And I think that's enough, actually, because I do tend to, you know, stand them on my shelf. So that would be just right, actually. So I'm pleased about that. So let's take that one back out. See how quickly it can come together, though, can't you? You know, if you've got a little bit of lace, a little bit of material and some cotton, you'd be surprised what you can do. So that's that. And I've got this lovely little bit of... This is from the boho journals we were making. Or you could do all sorts of things, couldn't you? I mean, your mind just goes off at a tangent when you're doing these things. It really does. But I'm liking that. So, and if I do a darker colour, I'm just thinking, will I carry on the theme with the green? The green. Am I going to carry that on most pages, or shall I go completely rogue and do just the brown? So we've got the brown there. We were going to put some buttons on, weren't we? See, you can just go off at a tangent. Well, let's just stitch this on. Let's just decide. Because I want different colours. I don't want the same. See, that's going to be samey, isn't it? You want a contrast. You want to try and bring in contrast if you can. So it's either going to be that one. Let me turn my arm over so you don't see my arm. Or there's that one. That one's quite nice, actually. I think I'm going to go with that one this time. Because I feel that it is a bit greeny, this brown. I don't know whether you agree with me. But I've done a little bit of printing as well, and I've gone back to Aldecina's lovely labels, which I'll show you in a second. And we'll be putting labels into this as well. So, but you can use any labels. I know Rachel from RachandBallaCrafts has got loads of labels. When I want them, I can never find them, but I knew where Aldecina's were, so I went to, and here they are. And I'll show you what they are. Antique labels of charm, and that's her name there, Aldecina Scrap Anne. Okay, and that's where I got these from. And I have got some others, and I couldn't find them. That's the only thing, isn't it, with digitals? You really got to be careful how you file them. And I was staying with the neutrals as much as I could. Tinge you a little bit of pink if you wanted to. And on this one here, I could do some stitching over that if we wanted to. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm just throwing out a few ideas there for you. But you do your own thing. You don't have to do what I'm doing. Okay? Make your book your own. You can take the idea and just run off and do it your way. That's what I tend to do. Now, I'm just going to do a straight stitch across here, because I do like a straight stitch. It's nothing very difficult, and anyone can do the straight stitch. Now this is getting a little bit thick, which is pulling on my finger, that finger there. It does pull on it quite a bit. Okay, so just be aware of that when you've got layers. And that's why I'm pushing down into my, it's going in, and then what I could do is go from front to back if it's not going to work. I'm trying not to stab myself. There we are. And I'm not worried about it being straight. I think I will go from front to back on this instance. Don't the pins go on your nerves? Right, let's take that one out. Try and get it off that one if I can. Yeah, that's a bit wonky, but I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered about it being wonky. It's slow stitching, it's hand stitching, so you know, you expect it to be a little bit wonky. You would have to draw, if you want it straight, by the way, just get a pencil or a friction pen, draw your lines, and then just excuse me, my nose is itching. Just draw the line and then stitch on the line. It's as simple as that. But I'm not bothered. Well, this should be fairly easy. That's better. And of course, you've got these knots in the wool. That's why I'm having so much trouble. Okay. Now I can either do another row of stitching here, but we'll see whether we need to. And that's what it looks like on the back. So you're building up your stitches. Isn't that fun? That's great. I know I'm off the page a minute. Off the screen a minute. Sometimes you need to drag it towards you so you can see when you're filming, but we get there. So let's decide now whether we're just going to have one row. Excuse me. Now there's a hole there, look. See what I mean about using your nail? No, it's gone. And especially with these fibres, you know, they go back together very, very quickly. Let's see how that looks. Let me turn it over like that. Yes, I like that. I do like that. Do I want another row of stitching across there? I think I do actually. Why not? But I think I'm going to finish it off there. So I'm going inside there. I'm going to catch a couple of fibres if I can, so I can make a knot. There we go. That's it. Now then, let's get another knot and then we'll go down the bottom. Now I want you all to remember that this is called slow stitching. So it's not like the machine where you're whizzing along and you've got it done in 2 seconds. This is why I can't do everything on screen, because I would be recording for hours, wouldn't I? Yeah, I want the knot to show. You may not want the knot to show, but I like these, and it shows you how many threads you've used as well. So that's the advantage of that. Now, I'm not even going to try and match them up on the top. I'm just going to get it through wherever I can get the needle to come up. I'm not going to panic if they're not straight in line with the top one. It's just meant to be relaxing. It's not meant to be... This is a bit tough actually, because I'm using very thick material here. This hemp is beautiful, but it's a devil to get the needle through. So if you've bought any of this in the past from Rachel, you will know what I mean. But it does feel so nice. And I have used it all up now on these 2 books. But that's okay. Can't keep holding everything, can we? Let's see if that's fairly straight. I'm not sure. I think the double stitching is quite nice. I like the double stitching. I meant to say on the, which one was it? This one. I put 2 rows down there, look, and I think that finished it off. I was tempted to put 2 around there, but I didn't want it to deflect this, so I just left it at 1 poking out. So I quite like that. But you do as you like. I'm just doing what I like. Hit a knot then. There we go. Good, I haven't cut my finger yet. Good. Better not speak too soon, had I? So I hope you're all having a nice day. Absolutely teeming down here today. So came out of church and it was absolutely pouring. Right. So let's go through here. Not through the same hole. And I'm going to pull that back and I'm going to finish it off underneath. I don't know whether you can see this. And I'm just going to catch some fibres like that and then tie it off. And then that will be underneath. Okay. So that's that piece. Lovely. It's surprising, you know, when you start stitching like this, how quickly everything comes together. Now, isn't that cute? Now, I could, if I wanted to, go down, and maybe I should have done it before I did that. I could do an overstitch there, but I'm just wondering whether or not I might add something on there before I do that. What have we got? We were going to put buttons on, weren't we? But this has just caught my eye. Just down to there. And I could stitch those on. So I shall think about that. They can either go there. It depends whether you want to go pretty or whether you want to keep it as I did with this one. Let's have a look here again. This sort of thing. I mean, this was meant to be more, not grungy, because I wouldn't say this was totally grungy, that is, but the rest isn't. This is fairly, this is more me. Katerina does tend to go darker, but we'll be doing stuff like this as well. I think we'll do some of that tomorrow. Some of these, we'll make up some of these, like I did on the back of this. Where's it gone? Where have I put it? Oh, in here. Making up that. No, it must be in the other one. I'm doing too many, aren't I? Never mind. Forget what I said. Let's just carry on with what we're doing. And I get carried away. And I absolutely love this. It feels absolutely amazing. And the more you handle the canvas, by the way, the better it will be. Okay? And occasionally you may have to trim some bits off, because you're going to get strands coming off all the time. And I absolutely love this. I can't wait to do that bit. But there we go. That's that bit. We could even, I'm just giving you ideas now. I'm just thinking what we could do. Because we've got these lovely labels, we could even put one of those on there and stitch around. Okay. And I've left some of the white on there in case we want to have a white border. So when you're cutting these up, these are printed onto freezer paper, by the way. That's how I managed to print. This is material, which I have here, and I'll show you. And I bought this especially for printing on. You can almost see my hand through it. It's that thin. All right. And I just bought this cotton. It's lovely material for sticking onto the wax paper. So it's called freezer paper. You iron it on, but be careful your iron doesn't catch the paper that is, because it's like glue. All right, so just make sure you iron it on before you cut it out. That's what I would say. Iron it on from the back so that you've got a little bit hanging over, and then cut around the A4, and then put it into your printer. All right, as an A4 piece of paper. And this was an A4, but I've cut them up now. All right, so we could do that as well. I've got lots of ideas going through my head at the minute now. So we could even do that. If I can find which way around they're meant to be, because they turn over. That's it. We could even do that. We could put those on there. Or going back to the buttons, we could put, let's cut these buttons off. Now they're going to go everywhere. They really are going to go everywhere. So I don't know whether I'm going to be able to get... I had a job the first time to do this. Oh, there we go. There they are. A lovely bit of cotton there. Okay, so now we can see. Oh, they're quite thin, look. I was expecting them to be much thicker. But they're lovely. You can tell how old they are. Look, they're really worn. So I know where they've got these from. Must be from a button factory or something. So we could put 3 of those on there like that, because I tend to work in 3s or 1s. And you could then put... Let me just cut one of these out and we'll see. Could put something like that on there, but then we're hiding this, aren't we? So maybe a smaller one. Maybe that one there. These are lovely labels. That's all right, I'm thinking. Now, if you had a narrow one, you could put something like that on there. Or like I've done, where is it? I know I keep flicking back and forth. Here, you could put something like this on there. Because that was done with the freezer paper. Let's take it off and have a look. See, something like that would be nice. You could put anything on there, whatever you've got. You could cut out a flower. If you've got some lovely material, which I'll have to have a look and see if I've got some. But it depends whether you want to go flowery or not, or whether you want to make it look antique. As I said in the beginning, you need to think about your theme, or just go completely eclectic and just throw anything at it, because you can do that as well. You don't have to have a theme running through it. Okay, so that there is keeping in theme with the neutrals, because if I put those on there, they're going to be lost, aren't they? As nice as they are lost. You're keeping that very neutral. So I was wondering, I thought I might like a contrast. I just want to cut these a moment, so these will probably go everywhere. Oh, there we go. Lovely. These are quite unusual. Do you know they look like poppers? Aren't they sweet? Oh, I like that. Because then you've got the contrast with the brown, haven't you?
This might answer your question. Brown is usually a dark shade.
Alexa, be quiet. I didn't speak to her. I didn't say a word. And she does that occasionally, doesn't she? What a scream. She's trying to get in on the act. It's usually my husband. I like that. I might put something else there. I might put some lace down there. See, there's hundreds of possibilities that you could do with this. It just depends what it is you're trying to create. So I'm going to leave it there now, and I'll carry on stitching after my son is gone, because I'm out this evening to my granddaughter's. And I hope I've given you some ideas. And as I say, I want to say too, a big thank you to Lenore, because she contacted me yesterday and said that she would do a thread on the Facebook page, Junk Journal Trading Post with RachandBallaCrafts. Not sure what to call it yet though, but we're thinking about that. So watch this space, because then you'll be able to post your photographs and I'll be able to see how you're getting along, and we can all have a chit chat. How does that sound? So thank you for joining me today, and take care everybody, and just keep sewing. Bye for now.